Straight politicking on all you suckers out there. Alex Alonso 101, Munchie B the mayor, and we're here to bring you another fire episode, live and direct from the City of Angels. How's it going, Munch? What's going on? What's new?
Oh, everything is everything. No complaints. Everything been cool with me. Just content, you know.
Content. I finally saw that cipher that you told me about with Smiley in it.
Oh yeah, shout out Smiley. Smiley did his thing.
Yeah, that was hard actually. Smiley and
Young Ant Hanford.
Young Ant definitely did their thing.
Yeah.
And who was my third favorite on that? Smiley, Young Ant. There was a third dude. Who's the third dude I like? Dang, forgot.
Shout out T Hottie too.
Oh, no, Honcho.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hunchy Hunch, that's my boy.
Yeah, them three.
Loaders, yeah. And then shout out my girl T Hottie. She out the Harlem area. She represented for the females.
Oh yeah, they only had one chick on there.
Mm-hmm. Ash Bash was supposed to come, but the dates got mixed up and it was some confusion. And speaking of Ash Bash, I want to send my condolences. She just recently lost her mother. You know what I'm saying? And it's a GoFundMe link, and we go make it available to y'all. And what is called the community?
Yeah, I'll drop the GoFundMe link on the community tab, and I'll also put it in the description of this video. So rest easy to her mom.
Yeah, but they did their thing with the cipher though. That's a good look.
Yeah, how come you didn't get on that? You should have been on that too.
Yeah, he had hit me closer to the date, but maybe if I had a little bit more time, I would have participated. But yeah, they did their thing. It was a good look. You had Bloods and Crips under the same roof, spitting. You know what I'm saying, doing their thing.
No, it was actually pretty good. I noticed Face was a big part of bringing that together, and I believe it was shot by Clichy 93. It was one of our friends from out in the valley.
Yep. Shout out Clichy, man.
All right, man. We got an Inglewood story that we're going to talk about. There was a guy that was killed by the IPD, apparently. That's what we believe to be. We'll talk about that. But real quickly, Diddy, he's appealing his sentence. And I believe he's got good grounds because he's appealing his sentence because the judge and the prosecutor partially took into consideration aspects of his case that the jury rejected. So if they rejected the RICO and they rejected a lot of the other aspects of the case, that should not have been part of the sentencing. So somehow the judge looked at his history of abuse, which he wasn't convicted of any history of abuse. So that's basically what they're challenging right now in the federal appeals court.
So if they look into it, they just resentence him?
Resentence him, maybe even release him because he's already been down. He had a year credit almost when he went in.
Mm-hmm.
What'd he get? He got like 4 years, something like that.
Right.
4 years and a couple months. So, I mean, if you reduce it, let's say he gets a 50% reduction, it's almost it's time served, you know? So yeah, I didn't think some of those, I remember watching that live thinking, wow, they're integrating some of the stuff that the jury rejected into.
Oh, so you caught that early on?
Yeah. I thought that if the jury rejected it, you can't consider it. But I believe there's an exception. Just because he wasn't convicted of beating up Cassie, this is according to the federal judge, or the prosecution. Just because he wasn't convicted of that doesn't mean that can't get taken into consideration, basically.
Yeah, man, but what I'm told, like the feds kind of they make their own rules as they go along. They don't really play.
No, they got rules
as fair as the state will play.
No, they got rules that their rules are a little. The standard is a little lower to reach. You know, with conspiracy and RICOs, it's a little easier to convict because they got a low bar, a low standard. But no, they definitely got to go by some rules. And, people win their appeals in federal court from time to time. Just because I always hear that people say that if the feds come to indict you, that means that they crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's. But we can give you example after example, including this Diddy case, where they didn't have all their T's crossed and their I's dotted.
Right.
So I know we fear the feds. When the feds come in, you're going down. It sort of reminded me of a title I saw. Your boy Adam 22 did a video. I didn't get to watch it, but the title was "Lil Durk is cooked." I guess it's because it's the feds, and people kind of fear that when the feds got a case against you, ooh, you're going down.
Yeah, they got a reputation and that high percentage conviction rate. You know what I'm saying? So everybody just assumed like the feds got you, it's over.
Well, that high conviction rate includes more deals,
right,
than trials.
Right, because people barely go all the way.
They barely go all the way with the feds because of the
stigma.
Well, also, you will get washed up way more in the feds than you will in the state. And they give you sentences like
500 months.
Yeah, it's always 100 and something months. And a lot of times, even in the state, a lot of times they don't want to play with them. They don't want to play with these people. I want to play with these people. Get me a deal. I'll plead guilty and send me off to federal prison. So that's part of their conviction rate as well. I wish people would extract out the trials and how many times do juries reject a portion of the government's case? How many times do jurors come back not guilty? I think we'll be surprised. We saw it with Diddy, but it's happened quite a few times.
I think they need to revise some of the laws and the rules they got as far as the feds. Like, a lot of people don't even know who their accuser is unless you go all the way to trial. You know what I mean? They'll never know who cooperating on them or whatever. Maybe if they knew what they was up against, they'd feel more comfortable fighting the case. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why a lot of times the government plays with the discovery. They're not. You know how many times I've heard defendants complain, "Yo, Alex, man, I still ain't got on my discovery." I'm like, hey, Matt Ronald never got his discovery. Never got his discovery. He pled guilty to a crime that he had nothing to do with and never saw his discovery, but because 5 years looks a whole lot better than 30, it goes back to that saying that people say, I ain't trying to mess with these people.
Right. I'm not about to play with them.
Yeah, I'm not playing with these people. 5 years does sound a whole lot better than 30, And
now you back out.
He's doing this thing. He hit me up the other day. I got to hit him back. But yeah, that's a good example of why they have such a high conviction rate, even though that was a Georgia RICO. That wasn't a federal RICO. But that's crazy that Georgia actually has their own RICO. Not too many states. That's the only state I know of that actually
do state RICOs like that. They did it with Thug.
Yeah, I haven't done all my research on the 50 states, but I know California don't got it. That's a fact.
Right.
So, hey, I wanted to bring up that Lil Durk, since we just mentioned Lil Durk. They just added Brian Steele to his legal team, and I think that definitely strengthens his defense. Whenever you add someone like Brian Steele, who is going to go hard, and he is going to understand all the legal loopholes that exist, that makes your defense just that much better.
Brian Steele, in my opinion, this day up to date, is the best lawyer in the 50 states. Hands down. He got that.
I definitely put him up there. I definitely put him up there.
I wish I could afford him.
Well, I think you're saying that because he's done high-profile cases. But I'm going to tell you, one of the best lawyers in Los Angeles right now is a young brother named Jovan Blacknell.
Right, and his name ring bells.
He's not as popular as someone like Brian Steele, but that dude has a whole lot of not guilty verdicts under his belt and a whole lot of either dismissals or lesser sentences, or mixed verdicts or hung juries. He's got a whole lot of that going on, and we don't really hear about it. I always tell people he's the new Johnny Cochran.
How you pronounce his last name again? Blackwell? I just be remembering Jovan, the last name started with a B, but I think with him, he not holding hands and kicking cans. He not trying to be friends with the prosecutors, he going in there fighting like they just real ops.
Blacknell.
Blacknell.
That's a hard last name to remember.
Okay, Jovan Blacknell.
But you cannot forget Jovan. You won't forget that name. Go look him up, y'all. He's an outstanding attorney here in Los Angeles. I don't know if he's ever jumped on any federal cases, but as a reminder, he defended the white boy from Rolling 90s and got that not guilty verdict. And it wasn't the defense was incredible. You know, it wasn't like he wasn't there.
He was absolutely guilty. You know what I'm saying? He played a part, and he was present. If you present when the crime is taking place, you just as guilty. Let's just cut the crap. He drove the suspects to do what they did, and he got off, and they didn't.
Well,
Jovan Blacknell did his thing. Whatever defense Jovan Blacknell came with, which I heard it, and it sounded crazy. But I guess he like, if he could come with the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Well, I could come with this. Jovan Blacknell.
So we're talking about Cameron Terrell. Mm-hmm. Now, I've worked on a few cases very identical, very similar to this. And the defense is, yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was driving the car. But I didn't know these dudes was going to jump out and start doing what they did.
But that wasn't his defense, was it?
Yeah, his defense was, I didn't know that's what was going on.
But they said he was influenced by movies and gangster rap and stuff like that.
Who? Jovan? I mean,
Cameron Terrell.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't present for that case, but I just know the basic defense was just because someone's present doesn't mean they're guilty of what someone else did. Now, years ago, everybody got washed up. The driver, the dude in the backseat that was asleep, the person that just went along for the ride, everyone went to prison. But the new law said that, look, you got to prove that everyone was involved. You have to prove everyone was knowledgeable. And all he just said was, I don't know nothing. I'm just driving a car. That's it. That's all I'm doing is driving a car.
I'm glad the law kind of changed because a lot of people don't be aware of what's going on sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Somebody will go to the store in your car and come back and give your keys back and did something on the way there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm glad they kind of...
But the prosecution is still going to try to wash you up. They're still going to try to... they're still going to prosecute you. You're going to have to fight it. You're going to have to fight it. But, yeah, I think he's he's a real great attorney here in Los Angeles. Of course, my boy Nicholas Rosenberg, you know, he does his thing. And he's well-known on social media.
Yeah, I'm starting to get familiar with Rosenberg.
And I know a lot of great public defenders. I know a whole lot of great public defenders.
Me too. I can name some.
Yeah, but I think that Bro's case is a whole lot stronger. I would never say somebody's cooked. Never say somebody's cooked that has Brian Steele on the team.
I hate to say people cooked anyway. I always like to, you know what I'm saying, be optimistic. You know what I mean?
I think that the evidence has to be mother effing overwhelming for me to say you're cooked. I rarely will say it, but I'll say it from time to time. Like I would have said, if Lonnie Franklin had just got arrested right now, the Grim Sleeper, I would have said, bro's done. Bro is absolutely done. He's cooked. I would have said that for him.
When Puffy first went to jail, I said, I don't think it's as bad as what people think.
You did. You definitely said the baby oil thing is not impressing me.
No, not at all.
And it's still like the biggest piece of evidence that they got out of his house.
Right.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, man. And the stuff he's supposed to be guilty of, I feel he guilty of, he ain't charged with. You know what I mean? He done did a lot of BS, but, you know.
And his biggest mistake, I'm going to tell you his biggest mistake, bro, and it's all his fault, is he saved the video of him beating up Cassie after he acquired it from the hotel. After he bought it, acquired it, replaced their equipment, he just let it sit in his house like some memento.
Yeah, he's supposed to burn that.
Oh man, that goes in the trash immediately.
Burn it.
Not only what I would do is I pull the tape out of the cassette. Let's say it's a cassette. I don't know what format it was, but if it was a cassette, you pull all the tape out. You take some scissors, you start cutting it up into little tiny pieces. If you want to burn it, you could burn it. Burning creates a mess though. You know, you just want to destroy it. Destroy it. He saved it, bro.
I'm burning it.
He saved it. And I bet you Cassie knew he saved it, and that's why they went and got it. So actually, technically, that was, well, I might take that. I was going to say that's the biggest evidence they got out of his house, but technically, they didn't charge him with it.
That's what I'm saying. The stuff he's guilty of, he's not even getting charged for it.
So, well, the statute of limitations had far passed. That was 2016, and I think it has to happen within 3 to 5 years. So, they couldn't do anything with it. And but it hurt him in public opinion. It hurt him in sentencing. It still hurt his trial to a certain degree, even though it had an indirect impact.
Yeah, public opinion, that's the thing. It's a real thing.
And that's why a lot of people probably went on the internet and said, this dude's cooked. Did you see the way he beat up Cassie on that video?
They kept playing it over and over.
Yeah, CNN, you did him dirty. But you can't really blame CNN, huh?
Yeah, he can. He should sue him.
You can't sue them. I mean, I don't, like, let's say someone says, oh, I'm going to give this to Munchie B. And you watch it. It's a video of Diddy beating up his chick. Do you do content on it? Is it content? That's what basically CNN said. This is content. We're going to show it. And that really hurt Diddy. It hurt him big. I would never do a CNN interview ever again if I'm Diddy.
He did one before?
Oh, I'm sure he's been on CNN a handful of times. Yeah, for sure. But is it content, Munchie?
It's content.
It's content, huh?
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's content. I would never. I couldn't do it though. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I'll give it to somebody else. That's what I would have did. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna even fake with you.
You would have did it.
Yeah, it would have been content.
Yeah, because you would have got like 5 million views on that bad boy.
But it would have been content before the case even started. Once I know it's affecting this case, I wouldn't have been. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what you mean?
Like before, like if it fell in my possession, and he not being tried, dealing with this girl, you know what I'm saying? It would have been content then. Okay, it's been years. He can't be charged. It's about to be content. But once he got a case going on with Cassie, they could make him look a certain way. I wouldn't have did content on it.
But it became content after the raid, but before the arrest. So what you know that he was raided. So
it's brewing.
Yeah, it's brewing. You know it's coming. So now you're in that middle area. Then what do you do if you're in that middle area? He ain't arrested yet. He ain't indicted yet, but he's already raided.
I would have to think on that one.
Yeah.
I would have to think on it.
I would have passed it on. I mean, I
don't want to ever affect nobody's sentencing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't know.
I got content on Ty Dolla that I never dropped just because out of respect. Mm-hmm. Just out of respect, you know. I considered passing it on to somebody else because I do think it's newsworthy. I hate to say it's content. I do believe it's newsworthy, but at the same time, there's a respect that I have.
You know, it's funny what you just said. Certain words, the meaning changed, and now you are like you don't even want to say the word content.
I hate that word content.
So they just like put a bad, what you want to call it, on the word content. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just came up with newsworthy.
And then you got plays. Like, well, I thought plays like I got a play. We about to make some money.
That's content.
Now, a play is putting together some fake news for your content.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, this cool. Man, I don't know.
Yeah. So talking about someone like Ty Dolla I don't want to use the word content. I don't want to say he content.
Right.
Just put it out there. Nah. If it is going to be put out there, it's because it's newsworthy.
Right.
And I do believe there's some value to that story.
Right.
But at the same time, there's people involved in that story. There's people that can be implicated in that story. And at the end of the day, it wasn't that serious for me to just put it out there. I had half the people telling me, drop it. I had the other half telling me, don't drop it. You know?
I know a lot of stuff that occurred over the years with people that's notable, celebrities. I was there for it. Some of it, I just know the story, and I ain't never spoke on it. I know a lot. If I was like a clout chaser and just trying to go viral, it wouldn't be a problem. It'd be easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Ty Dolla wants to acquire that content from me, or whatever you want to call it, he can negotiate something with me and get it all. Mm-hmm. I'll give it to him, and then he could burn it, throw it away, destroy it, do whatever he want.
Burn it.
I got one copy of it, and it's sitting in the safe.
All right.
But last thing I wanted to say before we talk about some topics is your boy Whack 100 could not get into the fight. I mean, he eventually got in, but I just, whenever I could throw a jab at this mofo, I'm gonna do that.
He got left off bad and bougie, huh?
Oh man, he was getting treated like a wet food stamp, as they say. He couldn't. Some streamer dude,
Neon,
that I've never even watched a day in my life, walked right on through past this guy.
Him and his party.
With his crew.
Mm-hmm.
Neon must be the guy right now.
Neon +5 walked in.
Neon +5 walked right past Whack 100. But we're not even going to play that. I think you might do something on that at some point, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to swing at him a couple times.
Yeah, I think whenever we can swing at him and just dirty him up, that's what we do. There's nothing to celebrate with this guy. There's nothing to promote with this guy. There's nothing to laud with this guy. He is just a horrible human being.
Right.
And it highlights it. It just shows.
See, but he thought he was more important than what he was. And he said out his mouth, respectively, Neon's not more important than me, but evidently to somebody he is. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, shout out Neon.
Yeah, whoever Neon is, I guarantee you Neon has more motion than this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he's doing.
Right, he's a streamer. I don't know too much about him, but yeah.
Yeah, the streaming community is a whole lot younger than I am, so I can't really speak on it, but I know that they do their thing.
Right.
So shout out to Neon, man. Is he from LA?
I ain't even sure.
Okay. All right, man. I got an update on a story that we previously talked about regarding some Latino gang members in Pomona when they first got arrested. Apparently, they sentenced all these guys, man, and it's not looking good for these guys in Pomona. It's not looking good for Popeye, Squeaks, and Swifty. It's funny whenever I read these indictments. There was a time when you got indicted, they just put your government. This was like the 80s. I don't think you can find an indictment from the 80s that puts your moniker, your nickname, your hood name. But now all of them do it now. All of them do it. It's just hilarious to read somebody's name with their moniker on a government document, But yeah, Popeye, Squeaks, and Swifty got washed up. This happened here in Los Angeles federal court, which did include a member of the Mexican mafia. So their Mexican mafia ties on this case was more legitimate because it included a guy named Michael Lerma. And if you're familiar with the history of Pomona and the Latino gangs in Pomona, you know the name Michael Lerma. Michael Lerma has been pretty much in prison for all this time, but they all answer to Michael Lerma, and he was included in this indictment. So a member of the Mexican mafia who controlled and extorted Latino street gangs in Pomona area, and 3 of his underlings were sentenced today. This just happened just recently this month. They were sentenced today to life in federal prison for racketeering-related crimes, including the June 2020 murder of a federal inmate in L.A. I don't know if you remember this, but we covered this last year where they just stabbed a dude who owed a debt. That he owed a debt. Right. That put the feds on it, and they indicted. And they included this stabbing that happened in MDC. And not too many stabbings happen in MDC. So it's one of those rare stabbings. It says here, Michael Lerma, who is now 69 years old. That is crazy. This dude is pushing 70, and he's still in the mix, bro. He's still in the mix. These guys do not retire. Michael Lerma, 69, a.k.a. Pomona Mike, was sentenced by the United States District Judge, who also ordered him and 3 other defendants to pay $10,000 in restitution. Now, let me let everyone know, Michael Lerma was already in state custody. He was already
serving how long?
Washed up already.
Oh, so he ain't tripping.
Yeah, he well, they are tripping because where do you think a guy rather be in prison? On walking the yard at the end of hostilities in the California Department of Corrections, or to be stuck somewhere in a federal facility in Colorado?
So hold on. So if he already serving a life sentence in the state, once he get this indictment on him with the feds, they go take him out of state custody. Now you got to do his fed time.
They took him out of state custody when this originally came down a year ago.
So they won't send him back to the state.
He'll probably never see the state prison again because he got life in the feds. It happens all the time. Francisco Puppet Martinez, the guy that used to run MacArthur Park, They grabbed him out of the state. Now he's serving a life sentence in the feds.
Yeah, I know they'd much rather be in the state.
Oh, they'd rather be in the state. Raul Leon from San Diego was serving life in the state. He got federally indicted. They grabbed him out the state. Now he's serving life in the feds. There's at least 20 Mexican mafia dudes that were washed up in the state that are all sitting in the feds now. Because it also weakens your ability to communicate and do the things you've been doing.
Right.
The CDCR, I don't want to, I hate to say it like this, but the CDCR does a terrible job. I don't even think they do a terrible job. I just think it's not possible. You cannot control a guy's phone calls from state prison. You cannot restrict what he does from state prison. The feds have a whole different game. You try to send a letter to a guy in the feds, that letter comes back to you. You're not authorized to communicate with this inmate. So the feds is on a whole different level when it comes to access, communication, phone calls, letters. The CDCR doesn't do that, so I'll take that back. They don't do a terrible job. The feds just take away all your rights. So that's why these guys don't want to go there.
Don't subscribe to the streets, kids. Subscribe to StreetTV.
And let me tell you, in my opinion, that's the reason why the East Coast Florence 13 truce happened. Because the dudes from Florence that are serving life in the state did not want to get indicted by the feds. They said this is going to land us in the feds.
Hey, man, but I'll still stand on Doc Thone should have been given some leniency based on he spearheaded that peace treaty. It was years of violence and bodies was claimed on both sides with the Florences and the East Coasters, and Doc Thone helped put that to an end, bro. That got to count for something.
Oh, man.
But that's a whole nother story and a whole nother,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
I would say to a certain degree, I agree with that. But, sometimes your past can catch up with you.
Nah, for real.
Regardless if you became an angel.
I mean, you got to believe in redemption at some point. Why is the R at the end of CDCR? Or you know what I'm saying?
Well,
they know, like, they lock you up, so you supposed to what?
Okay, you're tapping into a topic about statute of limitations.
No. But I'm not going to statute
because Lil Doc Thone's crimes were like 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm saying, they expect you to what's the word? When you sum yourself with the R. What is it?
Redemption?
Not redemption. Rehabilitate. So you get locked up all these years and they want you to rehabilitate yourself. But if you're on the streets and this crime is X amount of years old, but they did such a great deed that could save lives moving forward, that should be taken into consideration.
Hey man, that's a difficult concept to sell to the general public because there's no statute of limitations on certain crimes, so that's the unfortunate thing. And all right, let me finish reading this. At the conclusion of a 20-day trial in March of 2025, found all 4 defendants, that would be Michael Lerma and the 3 other guys that I mentioned, guilty on 1 count of racketeering conspiracy and 1 count of violent crimes of racketeering of murder and 1 count of first-degree murder within the special maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Basically, they killed somebody in a federal prison. I never heard this language before. Within the maritime and territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Yeah, man, you kill somebody in the federal prison, they're gonna come down on you. The jury also found Lerma and Valencia Gonzalez guilty of 1 count of conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, methamphetamine at MDC, and what else does it say here? Finally, the jury found Gonzalez and Valencia Gonzalez guilty of 1 count of being felons in possession of a firearm and ammunition. Sanchez was found not guilty of 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm and ammunition. Hey, so that's one bright part of this trial. They got a not guilty verdict on one of the defendants, but the other guilty verdicts washed them up anyway. So it doesn't help. All 4 defendants have been in federal custody since 2018. From 2012 to 2020, Lerma, a full member of the Mexican Mafia, controlled and extorted drug proceeds from Latino street gangs in and around Pomona as well as from incarcerated Latinos in Calipatria State Prison in Imperial County. Members of Lerma's criminal enterprise also engaged in robberies, identity theft, fraud, drug trafficking, and other acts of violence. So basically, all 4 of these guys have been sentenced, and it concludes this case, which started after the stabbing of that guy in MDC. So
It's messed up.
Popeye was 42, Squeaks Juan Sanchez was 33, and Jose Valencia Swifty was 44. These ain't even youngsters, man. But yeah, these when you got to do something in the Latino gang culture, you got to do it. I bet if I talk to these 3 guys here, they'll be like, man, I just had to follow orders. That's what a lot of these dudes say. I just had to follow orders,
Gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah, got to do what I got to do, man. I just got to follow orders. F it. Now you're serving a life sentence. All right, so I'm gonna have to reiterate that point, Munchie. Don't subscribe to the streets.
Subscribe to StreetTV.
StreetTV. Subscribe to the channel. Mm-hmm. Watch all this great content. All right, man. This crazy story of a L.A. County Sheriff's deputy, bro. This L.A. County Sheriff's deputy was sentenced to 5 years in prison for being a corrupt deputy and helping this dude who had a crypto company try to promote his corrupt company. Most crypto companies are they're scams. They're 99% of crypto companies are scams. They just trying to do get a big investment going early on, and then they will what they call a rug pull. They'll pull the rug out, take out everyone's investment, and close the coin.
I'm learning something.
Yeah, man. So be careful with this crypto shit. Most of this crypto stuff. The only crypto that you should invest in is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not a scam. But you and I can create a coin. We can call it the Inglewood coin.
The Inglewood coin, yeah.
And then we can get people, we can say, what's the purpose of the coin? Well, the purpose of the coin is to bring peace to the community by investing in programs that help foster a safer community. So when you buy the coin, proceeds go to these organizations and you'll help uplift the community. Of course, it's all bullshit, Munchie. We getting everybody to invest in this coin. We got dudes spending thousands of dollars. We seen the value go up. And then at some point when it reaches its peak, we take all the investors' money and we just pull it out of the coin and we keep it and we split it.
Damn shame.
And then we say, fuck that coin. And technically it's not, well, they're starting to indict more people now, but there's no.
Started off not illegal, huh?
Yeah, there was no such crimes for this because cryptocurrency is kind of a new thing, but now they're starting to investigate. Now we can have our crypto coin on
that's grand theft.
Yeah, but if our crypto coin is on a server in Malaysia somewhere and we're doing a lot of this stuff offshore, it's hard for the United States to really, try to pursue charges against these crypto crooks.
That would be considered, I know it ain't a thing, but grand theft embezzlement.
Yeah.
You feel me? That's what that sounds like.
Well, at some point, they're going to start cracking down on it. But that's the beautiful thing about crypto is that if I owe you some money, Munch, I could say, I'm going to pay you in Bitcoin. So I'm going to transfer $500 of this Bitcoin into your Bitcoin wallet. And that transaction is anonymous, bro. If I have to Zelle you 500 or Cash App you 500, that is not an anonymous transaction. The government sees that. But if I want to do an anonymous transaction, I can be more successful by transferring you some Bitcoin to your wallet. So you got to have a wallet. I already have a wallet. I know you probably don't mess with it. But if you had a wallet, I can transfer you $500 of Bitcoin, and then you could offload it and cash it out and get your cash. They got even ATM machines. I saw at the Arco gas station, cashing your Bitcoin. That's the only coin people should mess with. All these other coins are frauds.
That's crazy. I think Adam 22 got paid it in big when he got his ass whooped by Jason Love. Yeah,
there are some benefits to it, but I'm not here shitting on crypto. But there is a lot of scams going on, and this LA County Sheriff's deputy dude was involved in one of these scams. Let me read this to you. former L.A. County Sheriff's deputy and helicopter pilot. This dude was flying the ghetto bird over the neighborhoods. Was sentenced Monday to more than 63 months in federal prison for helping a cryptocurrency businessman extort a rival and arrange for the illegal drug possession arrest of another adversary in the city of Paramount. Now, this is the crazy part, dude. So this sheriff deputy became friends with this crypto dude. But the crypto dude said, look, I got a rival. I don't like this dude, Mr. Sheriff. Can you arrest him? And he was like, yeah, you want me to arrest him for you? Yeah. In fact, I'm going to have him link up with a broad, and I'm going to have that broad be in possession of a lot of drugs. And then once I tell you that they're all in the car together, pull them over and charge the dude and get him indicted. So the deputy was like, sure. So Deputy Michael David Koberg, a 44-year-old Eastvale resident, pleaded guilty in September 2025 to one count of conspiracy to commit extortion and one count of conspiracy against rights. In addition to prison time, he was also ordered to pay $127,000 in restitution.
Damn.
Now, according to the DOJ, while employed as a deputy, Koberg worked on the side with a 25-year-old dude named Adam Iza, I-Z-A, a self-proclaimed godfather who engaged in fraud marketing and cryptocurrency schemes.
Long before facing legal fallout, however, Iza was simply a young computer whiz who'd made millions off cryptocurrency, living in Beverly Hills, according to Rolling Stone in a story authored by reporter Jesse Hyde. He was not the typical client for Paramount Investigative Services founder Ken Childs, but he would prove to be among the most notorious.
When Adam reached out to me, I had no clue who he was. He was very professional, very polite. I mean, honestly, I felt like we sort of clicked.
I guarantee you this dude Izza had a bunch of Instagram sponsored ads promoting his BS. Izza has been in custody since September 2024 after pleading guilty to federal charges, and he's awaiting sentencing. Even though we're in 2026, all these guys are awaiting sentencing.
I wonder how long Izza gonna get.
Izza reportedly paid Koberg $20,000 per month for his services. At one point, planned to start an anabolic steroids business with him, according to the DOJ. So Deputy Koberg was off the chain. But hey, $20,000 a month is a nice bag, right?
Yes, sir.
That $20,000 a month, 3 months is his whole yearly salary probably. So in October 2021, Koberg reportedly accompanied another security guard to pick up a victim whose business partner was having a financial dispute with Izza. After the victim, identified as L.A. in the documents, was transported to Izza's home, Koberg informed the victim that he was an active duty law enforcement officer before beginning an interrogation about a financial dispute with Izza. Izza stood nearby with a firearm on the desk and an assault rifle displayed. This is some gangster shit, Munchie. Mm-hmm. They're in a house. That's basically you asking a deputy, an Inglewood PD dude, hey, bring my ops over here. And he does it. He brings the ops to your house.
Yeah, that's some conservative gangster type shit.
Everything was going very fast. He asked me to rob somebody. I didn't do it. And at the same point in time, he owed me at least $50,000 to $90,000. It was like a delicate balance between like, how do I get out and get my money? And then clearly when that wasn't happening, I just simply was out.
This was what inspired Childs to file the lawsuit that unraveled into the downfall of a criminal network. An investigation found that off-duty Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies acted as Izza's personal enforcers against his enemies, carrying out extortion, intimidation, and setting people up for arrest, among other legal abuses.
Okay, so while Koberg stood watch, Izza reportedly demanded and recorded a video of L.A., quote-unquote, L.A. is the nickname they're using. They won't identify this victim. Transferring $127,000 to a bank account that he controlled. Izza then directed security guards to take the victim's passport before driving the victim back to a hotel. So Izza was on some gangster shit, and he had this deputy Koberg in his pocket.
What you think the reason for taking his passport? What was the reason for that, you think?
I guess he didn't want him to flee. He didn't want to go nowhere. The interrogation continued the next day when Deputy Koberg reportedly took Izza and the victim to a shooting range in Izza's residence and left them alone. The victim was then held at gunpoint until their business partner transferred money to Izza, which the business partner did later in the day, the DOG said. So they basically extorted this dude for some money. Izza did. And he used the deputy to help this guy give him the money.
Hey, so if this dude, that's your competitor that you wanted to extort, if he wasn't on gangster type time, why would you play them type of games and leave him alive?
You got to ask Izza that one, because he brought the whole house down, including got the deputy sent to prison for 5 years. Now, here's the kicker, though. This, to me, this is some of the dirtiest shit right here. They did a false traffic stop and arrested his rival. So in September 2021, according to the DOG, Deputy Koberg conspired with Izza and others to lure another victim. Now, this is not the first victim we just talked about. This victim is called RC. They lured RC from Miami to come to LA, and they set him up for an illegal narcotics arrest. Koberg learned of a dispute between Izza and RC the previous month. Izza and two reportedly corrupt LA County Sheriff's deputies working for him forced the victim at gunpoint to transfer $25,000 to an account Izza controlled. Deputy Koberg and other co-conspirators then reportedly set up a plan where the victim's ex-girlfriend called RC and pretended to be interested in pursuing a romantic relationship to convince him to fly to LA and do drugs together. So dumbass RC, Munchie, comes to LA, hooks up with this chick. They got a whole lot of drugs on them in the car. And Izza tells Koberg, Deputy Koberg, pull him over now. Pull him over now. They got the dope in the car. Is this some crazy shit?
That bitch, she need to be in jail too.
Yeah, I don't know if this girl is identified. Let me see here. I don't remember.
Like, damn, like this show X, so you're not expecting, you know what I'm saying?
So, okay, so the co-conspirator purchased an airline ticket for RC. I think the girl is the co-conspirator. So, and you RC should have knew something's up. This chick is buying my ticket. Right. She wants me to come to LA.
You don't need her money.
She misses me. We broke up and now she wants to see me. I'll be scratching my head. Something ain't right here. RC, you ain't knowledgeable, bro. You ain't been through enough stuff to know this girl was setting you up the whole time. She bought your ticket too? Oh yeah, I would have knew something was up. And she picked him up at LAX in a white Tesla, drove him to get drugs, and then traveled to a location in Paramount where the Los Angeles Sheriff Deputy would make the traffic stop and arrest him. This is the cold part. You got to drive to Paramount because that's his jurisdiction. I'll be in the car like, why are we going to this town called Paramount? Why are we going to Paramount? Oh, because there's a deputy there that's going to pull us over and take your ass to jail. That's why we're going to Paramount. So the corrupt deputy identified as 34-year-old, another corrupt deputy, Christopher Michael Cadman of Fullerton, had reportedly participated in the August 2021 arrest of victim intimidation, resulting in a $25,000 payment to Izza, and helped set up the false arrests. Hey, these two deputies, Cadman and Koberg, man, these guys should have got way more than 5 years. This guy from Miami, RC, 100% innocent, is now sitting in the county jail on drug charges at this time, Munchie, before this was all exposed.
I thought only one got sentenced to 5. The other one got sentenced too? I don't know. I thought the other one was awaiting sentencing.
Well, I don't think Izza's been sentenced.
I think the initial sheriff got sentenced to 5 years. Not both of them, but I could be wrong.
Well, yeah, Koberg got the 5 years. I don't know how much Deputy Cadman got.
Right.
But just reading this thing it burns me up. I'm like, wow, this is what deputies are doing? You pulling over innocent people? Basically, you planted drugs on the guy. You through the girl. You planted drugs on this guy through the girl and got him a charge.
Hey man, it was real elaborate. It was real elaborate, and he wanted to get his opponents out the way for real.
Yeah, Izza's on some shit, but it just lets you know a little bit of money can get you a deputy. Okay, so Deputy Cadman pleaded guilty last August to federal criminal charges and has yet to be sentenced. He still hasn't been sentenced yet. So Koberg took the 5-year deal. I bet Koberg jumped on that 5 years. It's like 5 years for all this crazy shit I did. All right, I'm jumping on that. With Cadman's assistance, Deputy Cadman Koberg lied to fellow L.A. sheriff's deputies that a confidential informant was driving a white Tesla with someone who had an outstanding warrant and possessed illegal drugs. So they had to lie to their superiors on why they even pulled this car over in the first place.
So they had to say, "Oh, girl was one of their informants."
Yeah, technically she was. I mean, no, she wasn't.
She wasn't
because he didn't commit a crime.
She wasn't an informant.
No, she wasn't an informant.
She's a co-defendant. She's a co-conspirator.
So the deputy later conducted the traffic stop, searched the Tesla, found the cocaine in the car and psilocybin mushrooms inside the victim's backpack. The victim was then arrested. Koberg reportedly drove past the scene during the arrest in a black Escalade SUV with the window rolled down as Izza watched from the passenger seat. Izza then reportedly took videos and photographs of the arrest. So Deputy Koberg is driving around with Izza when this car gets pulled over.
Why did he take photos of it?
Oh,
what was the point of that? Why do people want to keep souvenirs so bad?
Well, I think he ended up using these. Check this out. He used them to taunt. So Deputy Koberg texted Deputy Cadman after the arrest to thank him for facilitating the stop and said the kid enjoyed it in reference to Izza. So Izza's is in the car with Deputy Koberg laughing, enjoying this. Oh yeah, we got that guy. We got him. At some point, don't you think like this shit is about to all come crashing down?
Cause you dealing with people that ain't street people though. You know what I'm saying? So once they get cause okay, this person that just got put over, the second person, he at some point he knew that he's been extorted and all this stuff is he been conspired on because you showing them the pictures and taunting them.
Well, yeah, after you talking about after the arrest.
After their arrest, because I'm pretty sure he bailed out.
Let's check it out. Izza later reportedly taunted the victim, RC, by sending a photo of his arrest and booking photo, texting, "For a drug dealer, you effing with the wrong people." So he bragging about it, Izza. He bragging about whatever he thinks he did. And I believe that's probably started the investigation because they're like, at some point, this probably hit social media. Like, how did this guy get a video of the arrest? And who is this guy? You know, it doesn't say how the investigation started, but Deputy Koberg says here, Deputy Koberg swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. Prosecutors argued in a sentencing memorandum he betrayed that oath and those he swore to protect, abusing the power of his badge, and he did so for an all too common reason, greed. Oh man, this is just an incredible story.
So what is it, state or federal? This
is federal. He's going to federal prison to only do 5 years. What do you think you think that 5 years is appropriate for all of that drama? And then they just disrupted RC's life. It doesn't talk about. I'm sure RC eventually got released. I'm sure all the charges were dropped. I don't know how long RC had to sit in the county jail. I don't know how much trauma RC is experiencing. If RC is listening to this, tap in, man. We want to get your side of the story for real, for real.
I want to know what did the girl get? She probably flipped on everybody and snitched, huh?
Yeah, probably. Unfortunately, we don't got the details, all the details. There is an indictment, multiple pages that probably goes into more detail, but I was reading the news version of Deputy Koberg taking his 5-year deal.
It's crazy. Serve and protect, huh?
Hey, take that 5-year deal. Appreciate that 5-year deal. 63 months. That's 5 years and 3 months.
Some of that'll be in the halfway house.
Yeah. You could always go to the justice.gov website, and it'll break down some more stuff that the news didn't cover. But I'm curious to know what happened to the girl that he was doing rug pulls, they call them. You could do a rug pull and make hundreds of thousands of dollars on a rug pull if you can convince enough people to invest in your coin. And that's what people do. All right, man. We got to talk about this Inglewood. I was going to say an Inglewood shooting, but it might not be an Inglewood shooting. It just might be a death that happened within the custody of the Inglewood Police Department. But a guy named Brian Bostic, he was hanging out with family. 1 minute, everything was good. Everyone says he was fine. And then he gets pulled over by IPD, and the next minute, he's dead. And initially, it was reported as a shooting by MSNBC. Let me read this article by MSNBC, and then I'll read an update to that. Title is Questions Surround Man's Death. Inglewood, the Los Angeles Medical Examiner's Office has identified the man shot to death in Inglewood on March 10th. So that's why a lot of people were saying shot, based on the early reports. Questions are now forming as to whether this was an officer-involved shooting. Inglewood police officers were observed securing a crime scene in the 4,000 block of East Hillcrest near Locust and Nutwood around 10 p.m. That'd be right on the corner, not too far from the Wee Jammin' restaurant, the well-known Jamaican restaurant there in Inglewood. According to witnesses, officers pulled over a silver gray four-door Mercedes-Benz, and then they were taping the area off. That was his car. A family member who reached out to Two Urban Girls, which is a platform that covers a lot of LA stuff. You familiar with them? Two Urban Girls platform?
No, it got sent to me though.
Oh man, they be on top of all kind of stories in LA. That was my relative, and I was told he died in police custody, which is not true because he was shot to death. Okay, so a family member is saying shot to death. And then it says the shooting occurred at the intersection of Hillcrest Boulevard and Nutwood. The man was pronounced deceased at 10:15 by officers. The victim was identified as 37-year-old Brian Bostic, and his cause of death is listed as deferred, meaning they will not say. They will not say the cause of death. His place of death is listed as law enforcement agency. No further details could be gathered from the medical examiner's office. An automated email message indicated the office was closed due to staffing shortages. Inglewood Police Department has not released any details of the incident, and the city canceled its next scheduled city council meeting. Not sure if it's related to this incident that happened to Brian Bostic.
Of course, it's related. They don't want to talk about it, and they putting together a cover up story as we speak.
Yeah. Now, I'm not convinced that he was shot. It could have been, but we're getting conflicting reports, and the coroner will not say if he was shot. So that has me thinking something different may have happened. But what else how else could he have died in their custody?
Because if he got shot, he should have been transported to a hospital and not to the station. If it's, you know what I'm saying? If he was shot.
But they're announcing him dead at 10:15. That's just a few minutes later.
Yeah, but and they saying he died in their custody, like it was at the station or something. You know what I'm saying? So
a follow-up article by the same Two Urban Girls platform. Their title is Compton Man Allegedly Beaten to Death During Traffic Stop in Inglewood. So
okay, that sounds more like it. That he was beaten badly and passed on due to his injuries.
But then again, wouldn't you be rushed to the hospital also after a beating?
Right. Yes, sir.
And to be pronounced dead at 10:15, which is just they pulled him over at like 10. Yeah, they pulled him over at 10 p.m. He's pronounced dead at 10:15. If that information is correct.
Incorrect. Because if you're getting pulled over at 10 o'clock, you're not even at the station by 10:15.
Yeah.
And the station not far at all, but you pull them over, you type in your computer, boom, dispatch your, then you en route and you traveling time. So I don't.
All right, I'm gonna take an educated guess. They pulled him over. They got to having a disagreement about something. They tased him. Or they over-tased him. Dragged him out the car, cuffed him, put him in the back seat, and he died in the car. That's my guess.
That sounds like a good guess.
And they did something out of policy that is delaying the coroner of posting cause of death.
And let this be noted, IPD is one of the very few PDs that don't got body cams. They don't have them.
And you know what? In this article, I didn't read this whole article by two urban girls. They noted that in the article, that IPD does not have body cams. I already read it. It doesn't really answer the questions we want answered right now. But the new information is saying he got beaten to death. But I have a clip here of the family having a vigil regarding what happened to Brian Bostic. Here we go.
Hi everybody, we're out here today in Inglewood, California, right here on the corner of Nutwood and Hillcrest. My family, we really need answers, we really need justice. My cousin Brian Bostic was brutally murdered by the Inglewood Police Department on Tuesday night, March 10th of 2026. Inglewood PD hasn't told us much of anything. We're still trying to develop a story. All we know that is when my cousin left us, he was perfectly fine. And when he got into the Inglewood Police Department's custody, they pronounced him dead. They haven't really told us much of anything. Again, we didn't find out until the next morning. If anybody around here knows anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our numbers are listed right here. It's his mother's contact and his auntie's contact. We really need you guys' help right now. The police, of course, hasn't said much of anything because, again, this is just another police killing. But we got to put a stop to this. We really need answers. We really need the community's help. If anybody could please reach out to us. If you were here the night of March 10th, Tuesday night last week, if you were just driving by, if you've seen anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Again, the Inglewood Police Department did something to my cousin. They killed him. When he left from with his family, he was perfectly fine. And when he was in the Inglewood Police Department's custody, he was pronounced dead. We don't know what happened, and we really need the community support right now. He has a daughter, and he has a whole family. We're grieving, we're mourning, and we really need the city to help us with us. Inglewood PD, the mayor, the city, we're calling on everybody. Please help us out. Thank you so much.
There you go.
Mayor James Butts, we need answers. Yeah, and we need help from the community. Anybody, you know what I'm saying?
And if anyone was out there, call those two numbers that you saw on the video. They zoomed in on it. They were holding a sign. And I spoke to the mother earlier today. I wanted to get her on. She's not in the mood, understandably so. And I haven't got a response back from the auntie at the other number. But if you know any information, don't hesitate to call the family at those two numbers.
Yeah, that part. Like they said, they need the community help. So, you know.
So what do you think's going on, man? This guy just got pulled over, and then he's dead 15 minutes later, if that's the way it went down.
Yeah, there was excessive at some point, overdid it, and this is the outcome, and they need to be held accountable.
It's like it's been a week. It's been a week since this happened, and there's like no information. That is not normal for police departments to hold back on the information.
Yeah, but you know, Inglewood is a fast growing city. It's turned into tourist attraction. You got the Great Western Forum, you got the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play, you got SoFi Stadium where the Rams play, Hollywood Park Casino. With all this going on, they don't want no negative attention. So that's why they canceling meetings with the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's obvious what they up to, but Mayor James Butts, I mean, we need answers and speak to the city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, usually it shouldn't take this long for the coroner to post the reason why, the cause of death. And if he got shot to death, it would have been heard. It would have been heard by anyone in that area. It would have been picked up on cameras. The audio would have been picked up. So I'm not so convinced it had to do with a shooting, because that would have been picked up by cameras and audios all over the place if there was a gunshot at 10 p.m. at night that caused his death. So I'm thinking they did something physical to him.
Yeah, they did something. It sounded like a George Floyd type scenario.
And then he's in a Mercedes Benz. I'm assuming he's got it's a nice car.
Yeah, more than likely got tents on it or whatever. Nice car and you getting stereotyped.
And then in a lot of the information they put out there is they want to emphasize he's from Compton, like that means something. Like, oh, he's supposed to be a bad guy.
Yeah, George Bush from Compton. That don't mean anything.
Yeah, so a couple of articles I saw that's like the only information that they're saying. A Compton guy was killed in Inglewood in police custody. So
yeah, we're gonna see how long it takes for us to get some answers and or for James Butts, the mayor of Inglewood, to address it.
hey, you should know the answer to this question. Has an Inglewood police officer ever been indicted for anything on a felony level? You know, not DUI, not domestic violence. Well, domestic violence is a felony, but
You know what? We covered it. It was an IPD. It was an Inglewood police officer. I guess he wanted to be a dope dealer.
okay.
You probably don't recall, but sometime last year we covered it. It was an IPD officer. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, because I don't really hear a lot. I do recall there was a cop. I thought it might have been Inglewood. He was peddling guns. He was selling guns.
Was it guns or dope? And because I think another IPD officer told on him, and they set him up on a sting, and he's like, yeah, it's more from where that come from. I believe it was dope though. It was sometime last year we covered it.
Yeah, I do remember that. Mm-hmm. Never for the death of a human being though, huh? Never for a homicide.
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, I do recall there was a cop indicted for selling guns. It might have been Torrance PD. It might have been another city down in the South Bay. I just bought a gun off of a cop. I bought a gun off of a Upland police officer, but it was all legit though. It was all legal, you know. But somehow I guess cops can get guns and just start selling them. I guess with under the table type thing. You know, I did mine with the same, 10-day wait. You gotta wait for 10 days, which I think is ridiculous. You gotta wait 10 days that they check your name.
10 days ain't that long.
It is kind of long. I feel. I know some states is 14, but most states is I think 1 day or some shit like that, or it's less than 10. Some are 14.
10 days give you long enough to calm down. You know what I'm saying? It's It's a cool off period.
No, they're taking those 10 days to run a background check on you.
Yeah, but I'm saying in a different scenario type. You know what I'm saying? I think 10 days it ain't that long.
Okay, so I found the article on the one that we covered before. Ex-cop sentenced for stealing, reselling cocaine from police lockup.
Right.
That was an IPD.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
He was sentenced to 30 months in federal prison. Abel Baca, 48-year-old officer, John Abel Baca.
I'm familiar with Baki.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm familiar with Baki.
He was 48 back in 2024. Damn, so you crossed paths with Officer John Abel Baca?
I crossed paths with a lot of them ones that been IPDs for years. So a lot of new ones that turned over, but yeah, I'm familiar with Baki.
So he was distributing cocaine in 2021. Are you surprised that he got caught up? Was he one of those ones that was considered a bad cop? Like,
he don't stand out like the names I done told you about.
Yeah, you told me some other names.
Yeah, he don't stand out like them or nothing like that.
He was just trying to make some money on the side then.
Yeah, he's trying to get to it.
Yeah, well, he's probably out now. Well, let's see. He got sentenced in 2024 to 30 months. That's what, 2.5 years? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he coming home. He's probably home right now. John Abel Baca. Or he might not even did. Sometimes when it comes to these feds and these short time sentences that police do, they don't really be doing them. And it'd be pissing me off because I'll go to the BOP website and type their name in and it'll say not in BOP custody.
He at home with an ankle monitor on right now because if it's 2.5 years, 30 months is that's 2.5. He out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he out. Yeah. He on federal parole or probation.
Let me see. I'm going to type his name in the BOP real quick. John Baca, and see what comes up. Release date. Last month, February 2026. Not in BOP custody.
He fresh out.
He's 50 years old now. Hey, John Baca, you lost your career as a cop. Tap in. I'd love to interview you. I really would. I don't think I've, let me see. Have I, oh yeah, I have interviewed a corrupt cop. The guy from New York.
Yeah, you didn't release it though.
I did. I dropped part 1 finally.
Oh, okay.
I'm about to drop some more parts on that.
Yeah.
All right, man. What you got cooking up at Morals Over Money, man?
Just content, man. I'm about to knock out some interviews. I'm about to Watts on Me Quan probably gonna be next. You know what I'm saying? Be doing the skits. You know, through the LA streets. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing it up.
All right. And that wraps up another episode of Straight Politicking. Make sure you tap in on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple if you want to listen to this podcast. And visit the StreetTV YouTube channel for clips of this episode. And we out.